GPS is a US military invention formerly known as Navstar. Its first satellite was launched in 1978 and was fully functional in US by 1995. GPS or Global Positioning System has three main components, that is satellite, ground station and receivers. Role of satellites. For finding out the exact location of a point, GPS use 4 or more satellites, and for total global coverage, GPS needs minimum of 24 satellites to orbit around the Earth. Using 4 or more satellites gives GPS an accuracy within feet or inches. Today, GPS uses 33 active satellites, out of which 25 are core satellites and 8 are emergency replacements. The lifespan of these satellites are just 10 years. These satellites are fixed in an orbit and communicates with other 3 satellites and the ground station about their relative location. This communication occurs in the form of signals, which are radio waves which travels at the speed of light. After receiving these signals, ground station analyzes 2 things, that is, the location of at least 2 satellites above you and distance between you and those satellites. This calculation is done using the formula speed is equal to distance by time. Here the distance is always fixed as the satellites revolves around the Earth in a fixed orbit, even though it may get influenced by the gravitation of Moon and Sun. So the maintenance of distance of satellites around the Earth is also controlled and maintained by the ground station. As the signals are in the form of radio waves which travels in the speed of light, the speed is also constant. As the distance and the speed is maintained by the ground station, the time taken by the signals to reach the ground station from the satellites can be calculated. Thus, the accuracy of time of both the sender, that is the satellite, and the receiver, that is the ground station or the receiver's mobile phone or any other GPS installed device, is very much important. The time of the satellite is made accurate using atomic clock, which costs almost $50,000 to $1 lakh, which makes it impossible to install it in receiver's device. Receivers use quartz clock and update its time with the help of the information from satellites. How do satellites find location? Satellites uses a technique called as 3D trilateration for finding locations. Satellites uses 4 attributes, that is latitude, longitude, altitude and time, and calculate the location and send it as signals to the ground station. Trilateration techniques. Generally, we can classify trilateration into 2, that is 2D and 3D trilateration. 2D trilateration. In this, calculation of location is done in 2D plane. The parameters used in this technique are latitude, longitude and altitude. Data in these parameters are combined in 2D plane in the form of circles to form 2D trilateration. This technique can be explained by taking an example of locating a point or an area using other known reference points. If we are in an unknown place and we have to plot ourselves in a map, we can do that with the help of certain reference points. If we know a place A which is 40 kilometers away from us, and if we try to find the point 40 kilometers away from us, we not just get one point but numerous points at a distance of 40 kilometers away from us. And if we join all those points, we get a circle. In the same way, if we know another place 50 kilometers away from us, we can draw a circle with radius 50 kilometers, keeping our location as the center of the circle. If we repeat the same method and draw another circle, we can locate ourselves in a map. This method of locating an area using overlapping circles is known as 2D trilateration. 3D trilateration also works in the same way, but instead of using circles, here we use spheres for positioning. The same principle is used by the satellites used in GPS for locating a place.